So if you out there come from dieting and you're scared of gaining weight, or maybe you're starting to eat high carb in an abundance and you're gaining weight, I hope these studies can help you. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Celia and I'm a Danish model, actress, angelic coach and conscious creator. And today we have another health video because I recently posted my story of healing an eating disorder and my metabolism, and how I today eat an abundance of calories while maintaining a lean physique. Actually, basically the same amount of calories I used to eat in the past that led me to gaining weight. Because of this, I got a lot of questions about how this could be, how this doesn't make sense, scientifically it's not correct, etc, etc. So I wanted to address many of these questions in today's video, and I am drawing upon scientific studies. I will have the link in the description for every single study so you can check it out. If you're new to my channel is all about becoming a conscious creator. It's all about you learning how to create the life of your dreams and by your standards. I truly believe this is our birthright, to come here and discover our creative abilities and then design our life in accordance with our true heart's desires. That is my quest, and every single day I'm living a happier and more fulfilled life. And it is my biggest wish that you guys may learn the same. So this video is all about health and appearance. Well, I'm gonna focus on health because I think that is the most important, and appearance usually comes together with that. If you haven't seen my other video, I can recommend you go check it out. I will have it here. Basically, I talk about my history of dieting in the past, of eating disorder, how it screwed up my metabolism, and my path of healing my metabolism through eating an abundance of nutrition and calories through a high carbohydrate, vegan, mainly raw vegan diet. If you already know me, you know that I advocate a high raw vegan diet based mainly on carbohydrates. I know there is a huge carbohydrate scare in this society, and I personally have been one of the people who believed in it because I have done a keto diet, both a regular keto diet and a plant-based keto diet, and I can say from both of them, while there may be an initial tiny weight loss, then in the long term I would actually gain more weight and I would just feel horrible. So I know that for me they don't work, because if I feel horrible, it's not gonna last in the long term. And it's definitely a sign that there's something with my health going on. So again, I'm gonna address all the doubts, concerns, paradigms about how too many calories is gonna make you gain weight. Before we start with all the studies, I just want to mention a few things. First of all, a calorie is not just a calorie, and that's what I'm going to touch on in all of these studies. It has now been proven through many different studies. There are so many effects that play a role, and what plays a huge role is actually our metabolism. Is our body wired to store fat or to burn fat? That depends on our hormonal profile, and that's something we can change. For instance, if you put yourself through starvation, through a long period of time, you're going to teach your body to store fat, because your body is going to learn that it needs to store fat for potential future famine. On the other end, if you have other activities of, for instance, feeding your body an adequate amount of calories and doing certain sports that increase human growth hormone, you will teach your body to burn fat and to store lean mass. I also want to say that some people say that raw vegans, they absorb around 30% calories less than a standard diet of the same amount of calories. I couldn't find any study for this, so I don't know if there's actually scientific backup, but it does make logical sense if you think about a few factors, such as a raw vegan diet is usually very high in water content. For instance, my breakfast this morning was half a giant watermelon. Watermelon is, I believe, 96% water. This watermelon also happened to come from the fridge, meaning that it was cold. So when I intake 2 kilos of watermelon, I get almost 2 liters of water that my body has to heat up to the temperature of my body. Already here I'm using calories to do that. And when you have every single meal very high water content, there's a few calories that goes into that. As well, a raw vegan diet is really high in fiber, meaning it's gonna push things through your intestines very efficiently. And it has been proven that we are actually capable of pooping out calories. The more efficient your movement in your intestine is, you may poop out a few calories there as well. And then lastly, that the raw vegan diet is high in carbohydrates. And carbohydrates, as I will show in the next few studies, are extremely difficult to store as fat. It's like a last scenario case that your body will do unless your metabolism is damaged. That's a whole other story. But if in healthy individuals, storing carbohydrates as fat is one of the absolute final things it will do after many other steps. So before we go into the science, I want to say that I personally eat up to 4,000 calories a day, quite intuitively. I don't stuff myself, I don't restrict myself. I eat when I'm hungry until I'm satisfied. And I plug it into Chronometer because I'm curious to see how my diet is, how my diet progresses, that I get all the micronutrients, which obviously I get very easily because I eat a very raw vegan diet. I want to use that information to kind of show you guys that even a person like me, that this society says I need 2,000 calories a day, I'm eating way more and I'm not obese in any way, shape or form. And actually I'm maintaining a physique with a lot of lean mass. In the past, I definitely gained weight with this amount of calories with the same profile of my diet, and the only thing that has changed in between is my metabolism. I've healed my metabolism, and I talk about that in this other video, so go check it out for that story. But for now, let's dive straight into the science, shall we? So the number one reason why you can usually eat more calories from carbs and not gain weight is that it has actually been shown in studies that fat is stored as fat twice as efficiently as carbs are. In a study on rats that has the closest metabolic profile of testing animals that they can use, monkeys even more, but luckily they don't do those sort of tests on monkeys. They found that an excess of 1,000 fat calories will have 300 of those calories stored, whereas an excess of carb calories, 1,000 carb calories, will have 150 calories of those stored. So that is only half of what you will have with excess fat. So if you eat excess calories but of fat, you're more likely to store more than of carbs. A second study has shown that eating something high in glucose actually increases willpower. Increased willpower means better decisions. So when you eat potentially a high carb diet, you could potentially be making better decisions for yourself, not only in regards to food and the foods you eat, but also maybe going for that run, maybe taking the stairs instead of the elevator, and maybe generally making healthier decisions throughout your day. They showed in studies of people taking tests that people who were taking difficult tests that demanded willpower would have no dive in their level of willpower if they got a glucose-rich snack in between. The people who got a snack with sweeteners, meaning not glucose-rich, had a big dive in their willpower. You can see the study below. A third study has shown that males that were overfed with carbohydrate-rich meal, they could not find out where an excess of 350 grams of carbs went. These males were given a breakfast of 2,200 calories of bread, jam, and juice, so actually processed carbs. They were hooking them up to check their metabolic rate and to check the storing of fat, etc. following during the day. They could not find out where 350 grams of carbs went because they were not stored as fat, they were not excreted through the poop, and they were not converted into carbon dioxide and breathed out or released through heat. So actually the scientists had no idea where these carbs went, and the conclusion was they were probably stored as in the glucose stores. But this study in itself shows us that they got an excess of calories and carbs and the body did not store it as fat whatsoever. Another study supporting this 100% showed that overfeeding of 500 calories a day of mainly carbs did first of all not lead to any negative spikes in blood sugar, actually no negative blood sugar change, and also the amount of fat that was stored was so minuscule that it was equivalent to gaining 1 pound of fat every 4 months. If you look at eating an excess of 500 calories a day, if you convert it traditionally, just those excess calories into what it would equivalent to fat, they should be gaining more like 1 pound of fat a week. So this study showed that there's something else that goes on, and the excess amount of carbs are not that easily converted into fat. Actually, this study showed that 90% of these excess carbohydrates were burned through. Dietary thermogenesis is basically the body burning off the calories through heat. And this is a very natural reaction, especially in people who have not been through dieting, because this dietary thermogenesis relies on brown fat, which we have around here in the neck and shoulder area. And this brown fat is a sort of fat tissue that directly takes excess fat calories, burns them for heat. So it could be, for instance, that you eat a lot of calories and suddenly you could get very warm. That has happened to me actually, that some days I will eat 4,000 and I will just be so warm because my body was literally burning off any excess calories rather than storing them. And this study showed that only 2% of the excess carbs were converted into fat. 2%! That is extremely inefficient. A fifth study has shown that eating higher amounts of carbohydrates actually increases leptin levels. Leptin is a hormone that regulates our hunger and satiation feelings. This study showed that eating high carb versus high fat has a very different effect on the body. Eating high carbs increases leptin levels, meaning you will feel more satiated, you will feel less hungry, and it also does affect fat storage. So it will regulate your fat storage to be decreased. The higher leptin levels is a good thing. It means less appetite, less hunger, less fat storage. It was shown that a higher fat intake would have the opposite effect. It decreased the leptin levels. It made people more hungry, have bigger appetite, and also store more fat in general. So that is only 5 studies of many, and many of them are based on several studies. Again, you can check everything below, but this is just to show you guys that the body is a lot more complex than what it seems. Yes, nature is simple but complex at the same time, and we have to understand that there are so many mechanisms that go on when we ingest, digest, and absorb food. It's not just calories in, calories out. A lot of stuff can happen from here and all the way down in the other end. And we know now by science that fat storage has so much to do with hormonal levels. That's why women store more fat than men, because we have different hormone levels. It's not because women eat more calories, because we know that men tend to eat more calories because they have higher dietary needs due to higher levels of lean mass. And there are so many factors that we can tweak in order to influence our metabolism. For instance, firstly, we can make sure we have more lean mass by doing sports, by doing exercise, and by eating high carbohydrate. By doing that, we increase our metabolism. We can make sure we eat mainly raw foods because of the high water and fiber content. And we can make sure that we don't diet or restrict because this does lower our metabolism. And of course, make sure we eat high carb, because when we do so, we will have higher leptin levels. We will be able to burn any excess through heat, eliminating it, or simply through the scientists not knowing where the heck these carbs went. There are also many factors within our gut and our gut flora. For instance, it's been shown in studies that phytonutrients found in plant foods do affect our gut flora in a way that increases fat burning and increases lean mass growth. There are so many factors in our body, so when people come with this calories in, calories out, to me it's so outdated. It's people who have no clue how the body works, and I don't blame them because we've been fed this by society, but it's absolutely ignorant. And there are so many studies that prove this now, and also people who are the examples of this, like myself. It's also been shown that insulin are super important in our fat storage versus fat burning. People with very high insulin levels will tend to store more fat. And also, through other studies, it's been shown that their dietary thermogenesis is very inefficient. They have a difficulty burning excess calories through heat. So again, another study proving to the fact that there are a lot more complex mechanisms. And that's why I advocate that we eat a diet that is made for our species, that is healthy and complete. We don't have to understand how everything works in order for it to work. In fact, I only did this research for you guys. But it's the same as saying, oh, I have to understand how my heart is beating in order for it to beat. But no, I don't. No, my heart is beating right now. I am breathing. I am looking through my eyes. All of these things I don't understand because I am not a biologist. I haven't studied these things. Yet my beautiful body does all of these things for me. And I know that the best thing I can do is work together with my body by living in a way that's most in alignment with my natural species and with nature, and by doing this I will naturally achieve my optimally healthy state. And I believe that we are all lean creatures by nature. Of course, every body varies a little bit and that's totally normal, but obese I don't believe is a natural state for humans. And I'm not saying that obese people are wrong or anything like that whatsoever. It's just that these people have been victims to whacked hormonal levels, to eating foods that are putting toxins in their body, or whatever it may be. And the point is that we can all come back to this healthy state. And the thing that I advocate is just eating this species-specific diet, and everything points to a high carbohydrate diet, and that we are fruitarian. So eating a high majority of our calories from fresh, raw fruits, with an addition of salads, leafy greens, all this sort of stuff. This is what I personally do, and I've tried every single diet out there. Probably not every single, but I've tried low carb, I've tried also starch solution, I've tried intermittent fasting, water fasting, all sorts of cleanses. I've tried many different things, and in the end, what matters is health and us achieving our healthy state. So if you out there come from dieting and you're scared of gaining weight, or maybe you're starting to eat high carb in an abundance and you're gaining weight, I hope these studies can help you. And also do look at my story video. I had to take many years to heal, okay? I know it's not the most encouraging thing to hear. I know that you wanted to hear that tomorrow it's fixed, but it wasn't the case for me, and you gotta be patient. I was impatient, so I set myself back many years. And if you can avoid doing the same thing, I would say go for it, because you can probably save yourself 3-4 years of the time that I took to get where I am today. Okay guys, I hope this was helpful. If you want more inspiration, go follow me on my Instagram, where I share daily diet, nutrition tips and hacks. And also, I would highly recommend go following Freely the Banana Girl. She's the one who introduced me to this lifestyle aligned with our species, and it's honestly changed my life in so many wonderful ways. Also, I do offer coaching for you guys out there who want to adopt this lifestyle, or who maybe are on it but want to do some tweaks, or maybe you need some help with your metabolic healing. I'm here to help you with this because I've been through it all. I've made mistakes, and sometimes mistakes can cost you years of extra work. So I really want to help you guys just go straight to the point and face whatever you need to face in order to get through to the other side perfectly, healthfully and effortlessly. So if you're interested in coaching, I offer a one-time coaching call or a more elaborate coaching process where we have daily support, weekly tasks, etc. You can go check it out on my website, becomeaconsciouscreator.com. Right now I have 50% off for the first 3 people who order, so you can use this code. It will be wonderful to work with you. Trust me, it's such a freedom when you don't have to restrict anymore. I don't think people know how much imprisoning it is while they're in it. I didn't know, but now having the freedom of actually eating to my satiation every single day, and knowing that for the rest of my life I can do this if that's what I want, is wonderful. And also, even though I eat high carb, don't think I'm lacking any protein right here. It's a sign that the abundance of calories and the right ratios of carbs and proteins promote lean muscle mass and fat burning. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments your experience with this, and if you'd like to see more on the topic. And I will see you guys in the very next video. Ciao!
Come on.